tonight who treats you right, baby, it's the guitar man.
And welcome back. Today, how to throw even more money at a motorcycle and add some protection against stupidity off-road. First off, thank you very much for everybody who downvotes my videos. That only encourages me to make even worse videos. You have only yourself to blame. Okay, let's see what we've got. Hepco and Becker. Must praise them for only using very minor advertising on one side. Hey, at least you can peel it off and it's not lasered in. And I went for black because, well, it's black, it's easy, okay? Easy to clean. Kit comes with two, one for each side. Duh. Several nuts, bolts, varying quality and design. Cable ties, something I usually don't get with these professional European installations. Personally, if you're using cable ties, that's more of a quick fix solution than the engineer working for his money. Never mind. Instruction manual for those who are mechanically and mentally challenged. Me, yes. Some love gloves, Loctite, silicone grease, because it's always a good idea to add a dab to the electrical connectors, especially the fog light connectors, as they will face the brunt of driving, wind, dust, etc. Your favorite spanner, torque, etc. set with a backup. Torque wrench, just in case you lack the muscle power. And an even bigger set again. So, let's begin. Page 1. Oh, it's also good to just go through to make sure everything is included in the packet. I've got one spare, it seems. Ah, well. So, step 1, remove the fog lights. And gentlemen, if you have a T-Rex Racing bash plate, this upper crash bar will attach itself where the bash plate is attached to. So, if this installed video doesn't apply to you, just ignore the steps I do. Else, I have a feeling it might be a little bit finagling or interesting on how to line everything up. So my plan is put everything in loose, hook it up at the top, maybe use cable ties just to hang everything there, and then see what sort of spacer or bolt modification I need to do. Nothing's ever easy, is there? But nothing ever worth doing is easy. Like raising kids. Fuck if that was easy. Let's begin. Alright, step by step. Remove the cover, loosen the bolt, and then we got to loosen 1, 2, and 3 to get the spotlights out, including the bracket. I have to disconnect the electrics. I don't know about the horn, but this video is also for my reference, so the purple white is on your right. That's my right, not your right, your left. Or is that my left? Yeah, never mind. So let's take those off. Yeah, that is thread locker. How much thread locker? I had to use my impact wrench, impact driver to get that off. And even it was struggling. Okay, never mind, we popped it loose. So, gentlemen, before you fit these bolts, take a brush to them, get the old Loctite thread locker off, and we gotta apply a new one. Strange enough, only the ones on the side had thread locker. The one in the middle, holding the horn, had nothing. Okay, next up, we gotta remove the LED lights from this bracket. Okay, now, this is the bolt that I installed with the T-Rex Racing bash plate. Nice. This is the Hepco and Becker bolt. What? Just go to the hardware store and buy any old bolt? Shit. Okay, so, because the bash plate bracket is already this much of a spacer, We have to use these spacers now. Here, okay, I should have enough of those spacers spare. So let's see if I've got... This one shouldn't be a problem. So instead of that one, we'll use this one. And this one, we have to use a smaller one. Let's see where I can finish. Okay, here's where the bash plate from T-Rex Racing becomes a problem. Because that bracket is so thick, the long spacer you're supposed to use on the left-hand side will basically put excess pressure on it and bend it outwards. Luckily, I still had the spacer from the Rumbucks kit, a little chode, and it's about 8 millimeters smaller than this thing, which is perfect. So, sorted, luckily, yeah? So just loose at the engine. Just be advised, the manual also said that you should only do one side at a time, else the engine will catastrophically fall to the floor. Yeah, okay. Okay, so the horn has been attached. Look, gentlemen, this is definitely a two-man job if you want to do it fast. If it's a one-man job, well, look, as long as you do Pilates and are flexible enough, because the next thing, we have to attach the bracket and the crash bars to the frame. So, crash bars, then the bracket, and then a spacer. This ought to be fun. Done. Rock solid. That's what it looks like underneath. Okay, if you're looking from the bike, this bar, the right goes last. So this one goes up first, then the other one, click. Put the bolt through, put the spacer through, go through the bracket, and hopefully find the thread. Unfortunately, because nothing is perfectly aligned, what you should do, while you got it there, just smack the bar once or twice. Because it's loose or semi-tight, it'll give you a little bit more leeway and movement. You don't want to thread the stuff crooked, because that ain't fun. Okay, now, the more interesting part, we got to put the LED spotlights on it. Oh, if you're asking what was the worst or most difficult thing, well, in case you haven't noticed, part of my bash plate is open, and that's because you need to put between the engine and the bash plate holder, there must be a spacer there. Then comes the black spacer, then the upper crash bar plate, then another spacer, and then the bolt head. Okay, and that thing kept falling out. In terms of lengths of the bolts, it's nothing to worry about. It's actually not bad. So the crash bar bash plate is, what is this? About 2 millimeter. If I wanted to, which I will probably do, is get better bolts. And that will require me taking everything off again. But let's face it, gentlemen, what would you rather have? That ugly bolt or a nice button head? Which will make it easier, because then, look, gentlemen, you have so many tools to take everything apart. I mean, there you've got buttons, there's a Torx, now you've got that. See what I'm trying to tell you here? I think I'll order this one, and I'll go 2 millimeters, maybe a bit wider. Never mind, I'm rambling. Let's get to the spotlights. Here we go. Gentlemen, you may know that this hole is bigger than the bolt going through it. Sexual innuendo aside, it may rattle, so just tighten this. It's a Loctite nut, so it'll work. The best thing about versus the OEMs, you can now point these things to the side. Up and down was standard. You can even get a cross-eyed motorcycle. Now, then we've got 4 cable ties, which you have to now get the cable right and out of the way. Unfortunately, they are sitting quite near there, but shouldn't be a problem. The rubber grommet that was on here you can take off as well. So let's cable tie this crap. E voila, finito della musica, as my father used to say. Ta-da! Rolling chair for reach around view, huh? Yeah. Okay. If you fucked up at any point, for example, me using the wrong spacer, which was too large, you will not be able to put this cover back on, because this will be in the way. Other than that, look, unfortunately, if you have got aftermarket solutions not by the same manufacturer, you will have to be creative, as was I with the spacer here with the bash plate. Happens, but that's the joy of wrenching. As long as you've got everything to complete the job. Okay, fit and finish, a little bit of finagling here and there. Why do I keep saying that bloody word? Faffing about then, whatever, never mind. The finish on these things, not so good. Here you've got a bit of sandpaper effect. I assume this is where they overcooked them. For the price, I would have really expected a better bolt than this. Come on. The cable tie solution, okay, necessary. But still, you couldn't have made a more elegant solution than cable ties? Okay, Hepco and Becker. Look, at what they cost. When I ordered them, when the rand was still good, or was it worse? No, it was worse actually when it was back at 16 to the US dollar. I paid $4,800 all inclusive, okay? Now, take a guess how much the Triumph OEM upper crash bars cost. 10% more? No. Try 6,800, okay? And they don't mount to, you know, these mounting points. In fact, they mount to the engine, same as this one, so not the best solution. But that's Triumph. It is a luxury brand. I should write that down on my Apple Watch. Yeah. Gentlemen, ladies, there you go. It can be done by one person. Take it one beer at a time. Bit of coffee, a little bit of Durex lube, and you know, you'll have fun. Just gotta take it in, put it in slow and steady. Wait, am I still talking about the crash bars? Never mind. Anyway, that's that. I still have to align the fog lights. For that I need complete darkness and a reasonable wall and a level ground, so I'll probably have to figure that out. Or, you know, I do what everybody else does. We leave them as they is. If they blind oncoming traffic, well, fuck it, it ain't my problem, right? Because that's the society we live in. And with that sad state of affairs, till next time. Hold on, we're forgetting one enormous benefit of upper crash bars. A, you can, okay, I'm not sitting, wait, hold on, let's sit properly. Okay, plenty of clearance if you're a freak, so not a problem. But if you're on tour and you get a little tired on the leg, why should Harleys have the only fun with the gynecologist chair position? Now we can have it too. We can have the wind shooting up our leg, cooling the ball sweat on tour. Allowing us to stretch out, put our head back, ignore the traffic, and let the cruise control take over. Jesus, take the wheel.